Normally, God will tell you to do what you are afraid of doing. He always goes to someone who is fishing and he tells them to do things which he has never done before. When God told the men to pick up his bed and walk, it was more than an instruction. It was God, it was Jesus giving the men the ability to do what he could not do. What am I trying to say to you? When God tells you something, he is not just informing you, he is enabling you. That's why Amos, when they said to him, go and prophesy in Jerusalem, and then they will pay you. Amos said, I was not a prophet. I was not a son of a prophet. I was taking care of cattle somewhere, but the Lord spoke to me. That day he spoke to me, the ability to do this came into me. So Peter was in the boat with the other disciples, and they saw Jesus coming on water. And they were afraid, and they said, that's a spirit, it's a ghost. What the apostles were admitting to was walking on water is possible. But you can't walk on water when you have this body. You need to have died. They were admitting there are things which only spirits can do. That's a spirit walking on water. And Jesus said, don't be afraid, it is I. And Peter said, how do we know you are Jesus? The way they heard his voice, it sounded like him. They saw his face, but the one thing they were sure that if it is really Jesus who is speaking to us, the effects of his voice are consistent with certain manifestations. And Peter said, if it is you, command me to come on water. Remember, I'm a fisherman. I know I've never walked on water my whole life. Command me to come on water. Because I know your commandment comes with an ability to empower me to do what I've never done before. Command me to come on water. Tell me. You see, Peter had never seen anyone walking on water. But he said, your voice can make me do what no one has ever done. Command me to come on water. Peter knew if I obey an instruction that is coming from the command of the Lord, the instruction gives me ability to function beyond anything I've ever done before. Listen, Peter was not a carpenter, he was a fisherman. He was a what? He understood the density of men and the density of water. He was a fisherman. He understood man is not made of wood. You command me to come on the water. Pick the word. Because the first time I met you, you told me to throw my net. And I threw my net where I had thrown before. And I caught what I had never caught before. Command me. Tell me. Just tell me to lay hands on the sick now. You will see what will happen. Tell me to do it. The word of Jesus manipulated the density of Peter's body. And for a few steps, water forgot that it is lighter than men. It began to support Peter's steps. Why? Because when he tells you to come on the water, he's also telling the water to receive you. He's also telling the water, as for this one, I know the pattern is mnonyuza van. We are nyure. We have words we have heard from God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They said it's a ghost. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. Why is he not being affected by what affected others? He is a spirit. The Bible says when Paul one day he was gathering firewood and a viper bit him on his arm and he shook it in the fire. He didn't pray afterwards. He just shook it in the fire and he continued working. And the Bible says the men who were looking at him, they said, this man is an evil man because he escaped the storm and now he has been bitten by a snake. The Bible says they expected him to fall down and die. But after a while, they changed their mind and they said, this man is a god. The gods have come in flesh. My Jesus. What am I saying to you? Problems come to expose the hidden true nature of who you really are. There are things which people will not know about you until you are thrown in the fire and they see you dancing in that fire. Are you listening to me, child of God? We need you to be in the fire for us to know.